Today on The Occult Detective, horror mayhem continues, and our celebration of J.N. Williamson. Today I'm going to talk briefly about the book Hellstorm. It's another paperback from hell. Just love that cover. You catching that, I hope? So this is a follow-up to the last book I discussed, The Black School. It says, after 5 centuries, the demonic Book of Might has resurfaced. Now all hell is about to break loose on Earth. Hellstorm. Moore Castle said, vivid, graphic, uniquely surreal nightmares. Jacob Weir is one of the great characters in modern horror fiction, period. 500 years ago, Jacob Weir, brilliant Swiss-born scientist, alchemist, and philosopher, raided a remote Scottish chapel and slipped out of history with his prize, the unholy Book of Might. Its pages filled with secrets of demonic power, inscribed by the sulphurous hand of Lucifer himself. For 5 centuries, the book was lost, consigned to oblivion. Now it's found, and all the powers of hell want it back. Suddenly mortal, Weir and his desperate companions must make a final stand against the minions of ultimate evil. At the smoking portal to the netherworld, victory could mean salvation for Weir, but failure grants Satan dominion over Earth and means eternal damnation for us all. As a follow-up to Black School, this book is even stronger, and as I had stated, Black School was a lot of fun. It had its problems, but it was a really good book, and Jacob Weir was one of the main characters in that novel, gets another go-around, and he's a really interesting character, a dwarf, 400 years old. The narrative sense around him is really neat, and I think Williamson really took to that character. And I know in one of the letters I shared, he hadn't planned on doing a sequel to Black School, but really he outdid himself with this. I'd highly recommend it. Much better than Black School, but you'd need to read it first, I think. I love his depiction of hell itself, and just the interactions with the minions thereof. I mean, it's kind of a unique take, and I love the lurid title and graphic. Really sets it. This book came out in 1990, right? And it really shows. I mean, it's there was horror at that time was very sensational. There was a real explosion of horror at the time. Now, this book was put out by Dell, but I'm thinking of later we had Leisure and publishing houses like that, and they were churning these things out. And Williamson, he kind of rose above the rest. Good stuff. So I thought I would share another letter from the archives sent to me by Tom Milstead. And this letter was written July 6, 1962. To my utter horror, tomorrow is my 30th birthday, and there isn't one dang thing I can do to avoid it. The decade before middle age lies just over the midnight horizon. For the first time in my life, I am confronted with age, and I do not care for it. But this is old stuff to you, I'm sure, and you are forgiven a callous and unsympathetic chuckle. I'm back at sporadic work on my novel, now that I find it is better than half done, typing it, which is the dreariest thing going, surely. I had contemplated giving it to our typist here and asking her to do it at home, nights, for $15 or $20, but I can't afford the money, nor the corrections that she would be likely to demand. Oh well, a year from now, with $40,000 from Reader's Digest and $200,000 from the movies, not to mention $20,000 from hardcover and 5,000 from paperback, it'll seem worth it. Incidentally, these cigarettes aren't as enjoyable as they used to be. I really have much more to say, but I'm weary of casting an eye to the door every 3 words. Hence, next time I'll do the whole letter at home. Do write and remember, the Kennedy you save may be your own. Rots of Ruck, incoherently, yours, Nostradamus. So it seems like a interesting way to close out Horror Mayhem. I'd planned to do a lot more, but got sick, and well, here we are. I hope you've been intrigued enough by Williamson that you'll look into him. He's definitely worth a read. He's his work in the 80s and 90s in particular, were really, a big part of that whole Paperbacks from Hell kind of sweep that took over the genre, the whole sensationalism of it all, and there was a lot of fun books in that time period, and Williamson was one of the best at it. So look into him; it's well worth it. And I thank you for looking in on this and taking part. Hopefully I'll have a lot more interesting takes for you on the horizon as we march through summer and then into autumn when we really come alive.